Hello, welcome to the Eclectic Reader. Listen to great books and stories while you use your eyes and hands for other things. Now here's your host, Madison Mason.
Hi, I'm Madison Mason. Welcome to Chapter 11 of The Gray Quarry Boys. Well, the plot thickens, it gets more complex and more involved. Thanks for staying with us. Enjoy. The Gray Quarry Boys, Chapter 11, The Hunt. She found his scent, Sonny said. Joey couldn't see him in the darkness, but he knew he was smiling. He let the other two dogs loose, and they sped howling into the woods, calling in search of their sister. The two-legged hunters took off, trotting after them, pulled by the excited younger dogs, choking on their collars. In moments they were at a gallop, tearing along trails they couldn't see, and the dogs could only smell. Joey was dragged into trees, bushes, and rocks hidden in the black night, and all the time they could hear Sarah going deeper into the pine forest, calling her brothers to her. He wondered why Sonny didn't use flashlights to light their way, but he seemed to know the woods like his own house, and trotted past, chuckling. Sonny loved this as much as life. Suddenly the pups crested a small hill in the pitch dark. In the air, with no ground under his feet, and the dogs still running, Joey landed, tripped, and was yanked face down into a cold creek. He gurgled and gasped in the icy water while the pups struggled to get out and catch the trail. He held onto the chains for all his worth as he flopped in the smelly creek. Sonny cracked up. "Come on, boy. No swimming. Let's go." Joey didn't think it funny at all, shivering, sopping wet, and holding two stupid hounds who lurched, choking and bug-eyed in different directions. He wanted to cry, but he didn't dare. Now he hated coon hunting, a lot. "Oh, hell, you can just let them go now. They'll probably just get lost anyway. We'll pick them up later," he chuckled. Joey struggled up the slippery bank of the creek in the dark and yanked the dogs' heads closer to undo the snaps on the leads. He was so mad he treated them rough, but they didn't notice or care. They were burning on pure instinct now and out of control. Soon as they felt the release, they put their noses to the trail and were gone at full throttle through the woods, bawling. Joey flopped down on the muddy creek bank as Sonny reached into his pack, pulled out a plaid thermos, and unscrewed the top. "You better have some of this," he said, handing the boy a cupful of something hot and sweet-smelling. "I'm freezing. What is this?" he shivered. "Coffee and bourbon. Since you're a mighty coon hunter now, you better start acting like one. Drink up, but don't tell your ma. She'll shoot me dead." The coffee and whiskey burned going down. In seconds he felt better. Warmth slowly surged through his cold limbs, blocking out the night. "You okay now?" Sonny put a hand on his shoulder. "Yeah. Hey, I gotta be home at 11. 11? Don't think you're gonna make it," Sonny laughed. The whiskey suddenly hit Joey like a blackjack. With being sick on antibiotics and the thrill of the hunt and the run, the booze smacked his virgin brain in record time. His blood was aflame and he was raring to go. "Hell, I don't care. Let's get him," he said, hopping up. He almost fell back into the running creek below. His head was spinning and he felt great. He waved his hand grandly like he was the king of hunters. "Let's go get that son of a bitch." "Hey, take it easy there, Hoss. I'll have a little more of that stuff." No, I think you're just fine," Sonny chuckled. "Damn right, Buddy Rowe. Let's go," he braved. Sonny switched on the flashlight and set off at a trot, Joey following a couple feet behind. His sodden jeans clung to his legs and his sneakers squished, but on he ran. The beam threw chunks of shadow jumping through the woods that made Joey feel drunker than he was. He tried to focus on the black space that was Sonny's back as they trotted on. They ran, listening to the dogs disappear deeper and farther into the distance. It dawned on him for the first time what he was involved in. This wouldn't be some quick, easy thing at all. This was life and death in the wild, and it required all-out effort on the part of all participants. Somewhere in the night a coon was running for his life, and they were coming after it. All of a sudden, Sonny hit the brakes and Joey slammed into him full throttle, bending his nose back. "Ow, damn," he blurted, feeling for blood. "Shh, look," Sonny whispered, and pulled him around to his side. There on the trail, Frozen in the glaring flashlight was a tall buck with a rack of at least 12 points. His black eyes sparkled as he tried to assess what was happening. He was the most beautiful creature Joey had ever seen. Suddenly there was movement behind, and 2 females shot up the hillside above the trail, bounding out of danger on branch-thin legs. The buck stood silent and wild, facing off the intruders into his nocturnal kingdom. As they froze, 2 more does and 3 yearling fawns trotted up out of the creek below and leapt up the hillside where the others had disappeared. Joey felt the hair standing on the back of his neck. The big white-tailed buck turned his head to the right, his large wet nose tasting the night air, and without any visible movement, jumped straight up out of the light and disappeared. Sonny flashed the light up the hill, but the deer were gone, only the scrub oak shaking on the top where they had passed. The buck must have jumped 15 feet in a leap, as effortless as a step. The hunter stood in awed silence. "Good thing we didn't have him cornered," Sonny whispered. "Why?" Joey was moved with admiration. "Boy, he'd run right over us. We'd both be full of holes and wish we'd never come out here. But I'll get him come season." "Let's go, Joey. That coon ain't gonna catch himself."
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of The Eclectic Reader. Please go on to the next numbered episode to continue. Also, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you'd like to help support the project, you can donate under Madison Mason at Patreon. And please, check out our website, kltkrdr.com, for more information.
Hi, this is Madison Mason. I want to personally thank you for listening to The Eclectic Reader and invite you to share your experience, your thoughts, and your suggestions. We have many great books lined up for the future, but if you have requests for anything that is in the public domain, please email us at kltkrdr@gmail.com.
kltkrdr@gmail.com